Hello, everyone. This is Sound Booth Theater Live. We are live, and this is the second cold read of Earth Force 3 by Shimmer Kuznets. Thank you so much for coming to hang out while I narrate this. 1 second. Sorry I'm a bit late. I just was taking care of other things. Always taking care of things. But yeah, excited to get back into Earth Force 3. If you were here last time, then you will have remembered a big broodmother battle, and that we almost finished a chapter, but I had to get going because I had an appointment. But we're just going to wrap that chapter up real quick and keep going. It is my birthday. Thank you. My roommate had this surprise for me right right outside my bedroom door, and I thought it'd be fun to add it to the stream. So I hope you guys enjoy hanging out with him while I narrate. All right. Thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Let me move this over. You guys, did you guys prefer seeing Ableton while I was recording, like with my face broken out to the side and then the me screen sharing what I'm doing on the computer, or do you prefer it just like this? Oh, I forgot my coffee, damn it. No. There were two options. I don't know how to respond to that. The eyebrows are funnier. Got it. We'll keep it without... I have to do a little twirly here. There we go. All right. Here goes.
Five. Master wrist console times 5.
All right, let's see here. You know what I hate about Samsung devices is that when you scroll all the way to the left, there's always some extra shit that they have set up that's not a desktop, or that's not a, your whatever you call what is it that what do you call it, the home screen, whatever. I hate that because I never ever want to go there, but like sometimes I will swipe that direction just instinctively, and it's more of a pain in the ass to swipe out of that than it is to swipe into it. I don't know what that's about, guys. It's just ugh. Yeah, Bixby. That's what was this device has Bixby, which I don't know anything about. I don't know why it's messing with that program. It's annoying. Vista's Revenge. That joke is going over my head. Sorry.
5. Master wrist console times 5.
Okay, so this is Allie.
1 for each council member, she explained. That should be doable. They cost 40,000 Pytech apiece, Lana said. Huh. Not long ago, that would have been a huge sum, but with the Pytech you just gave us, we can just walk into a shop and buy it. It's a low priority. It's a low priority. It's low on the priority list, Allie reminded her. It's low on the priority list, Allie reminded. So don't spend it all at once. I trust you to extend it as much as possible. Aye, aye, Councilwoman.
Allie smiled at them.
I wish you all good luck. Is there anything you need for the journey? Food and water, mostly, Nori said. I'm putting together a group to take care of incoming ships.
Allie said, bringing up her wrist console.
Dolly is the team leader. Talk to her whenever you need. Talk to her for whatever you need. Lana, forward her our current inventory. Yes, Captain, the young expert said, activating her wrist console. Anything else?
Allie looked at each of the crew members.
Human flesh.
Cirque, the sole alien, replied.
Any fresh corpses would do.
The council members' eyes widened.
You mean,
Allie swallowed nervously.
You eat?
No, Councilwoman, Cirque said calmly. I was making a joke. Bulko chuckled, clapping his small friend a bit too hard as the... Bulko chuckled, clapping his small friend a bit too hard on the back as the small alien nearly face-planted into the table. Bulko chuckled, clapping his small... He's almost as bad as... He's almost as bad at it as Unity, but he's learning.
I am,
Cirque replied evenly, pulling himself back up.
My translation implant seems to be lacking in the human humor department. That said, we should bring aboard additional able bodies. I'm still a little shaken, so I just want to make sure. Not for eating, right?
Nicholas says this.
I'm still a little shaken, so I just want to make sure. Not for eating, right? Not at all, Gunslinger. Not at all, Gunslinger Nicholas. There are a few Not at all, Gunslinger.
So, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's... Android's fucked up Siri. Windows Vista had frustrating UI. I see. Can you guys hear this thing? Because it's like there's a fan in it that, you know, that's keeping it inflated. I don't know if it's contaminating my audio or not.
Bulko chuckled, clapping his small friend a bit too hard on the back as the small alien nearly face-planted into the table.
He's almost as bad at it as Unity, but he's learning.
There are a few
No, I don't hear it in there. Baka Bros, you can hear it? I think I'll have to shut it off. It's kind of hard to tell if it's bleeding through the audio or not, but it's probably too much. You can't? Oh, okay. Okay.
Are a few unoccupied. Not at all, Gunslinger Nicholas. There are a few unoccupied roles in the crew, which I believe some of your populace. There are a few unoccupied roles in the crew, which I believe some of your populace will be able to fill.
We do have a new med bay, but no doctor. We do have a new med bay, but no doctor.
Lana tapped her teeth.
The tech can fix most normal injuries over time, but if we had a doctor on board when Cirque first joined us, that would have probably helped speed his recovery. The tech can fix most normal injuries over time, but if we had a doctor on board when the tech can fix most normal injuries over time, but if we had a The tech can fix most normal injuries over time, but if we had a doctor on board when Cirque first joined us, that would have probably helped speed up his recovery. Also, I can probably operate the new science lab on my own, but a specialized scientist might be better. We also have the 2 extra workrooms we hadn't dedicated to anything specific.
That might not be a bad idea, Nori said. We do have 3 vacant crew cabins. Might as well fill them up. There are 2 problems I see, though. One, how will we find people willing to come with us into space? You're kidding me, right? Nicholas said, incredulous. Who wouldn't? I bet people will line up for miles at the chance to join the famed Unity crew. The pilot arched an eyebrow. You're sure about that? It's incredibly dangerous. Even with Unity's unique advantages, we're at the bottom of the food chain out there. Even with Unity's unique advantages, we're at the bottom of the food chain out there. We've been in mortal danger at least half a dozen times, and that was just during a week-long foray into space. Constant risk? Constant risk? Nicholas smiled at her. As opposed to living in a warp-infested world where horrible monsters are waiting to kill and eat you? Nori bit her lips. It's much safer now, at Haven at least. But I see your point. Still, that brings me to the second problem. Levels. The highest levels on Earth right now are, what, 5, 6? She gestured at her crew. We're all level 11. We're all level 9, with some pushing at 10. We're all level 9, with some pushing at 10. Cirque's already there. Whoever joins us would be at a pretty significant disadvantage. They won't be able to use the same advanced equipment we can that helps us survive, so they'll become more So they'll be more vulnerable. Gary smiled. No one said you need to bring people along for an alien shootout. I think we're all talking about the concept of support staff. I'm not the expert, like Lana is. He winked at the young girl. Sorry. But I've learned enough about alien technology by now to know that you can only get so much done without appropriate paths. Like a medical expert or a scientist, as Lana pointed out. Support staff, huh? Nori said slowly. I guess a doc...
I need to turn that shit off. Bleep. And I should probably check out what that was anyway. Oh my god, I
I guess a doctor or a science specialist could be handy. The rest of you are okay with bringing in a few more people?
Unity's crew all nodded.
All right. I guess we can do some quick interviews before we leave. Maybe also look for another soldier on the team? Caddy said. A girl can only save your ass so many times before she needs to take a night off. But I guess you had a point that people below our levels would have it rough out there, so...
She shrugged. Or another technician, Bulko said. The new repair drones we bought are a huge help, but Unity is getting bigger and more complex, so another guy to help around... So another guy to help around would be good. So another guy... Nori looked at the silent young man.
Nathan, what do you think?
He pondered the question for a moment.
I'm not sure. But whoever joins us, I think Unity should have a say as well. Good thinking.
Nori looked back to the council.
All right. Spread the word we're looking for volunteers. The priority is for a medical expert with field experience and another for a scientific position.
That's it? Gary frowned. You don't have more specific requirements?
Nori shook her head. Having paths changed the way we do things. It depends on what's available.
Anyone else?
Whatever path you think could be useful. She smiled at them. I'll let you do the initial filtering.
Just make sure whoever it is, they can handle themselves in tight situations and not lose their shit, Bulko grunted.
And know their way around a gun, Caddy added. And probably should have experience operating holo monitors and light consoles,
Lana pointed out.
And are not skittish of alien interactions, Cirque added. I have noticed a lot of your people still cringe away when I'm around.
Nicholas nodded.
We'll have some people ready for you to talk to soon. In the meantime, we'll get your ship restocked.
Allie rose from her seat.
If I don't see you again before you head out, good luck up there.
And that's a chapter. Let's keep rolling. How you guys feeling out there in the world? That is a good idea, Baca Brothers Entertainment. He says you should enable super likes / super chat so people can donate during your streams. I need to do more streaming in general. But yeah, I agree. I think, you know what? Tell me what you guys think of this idea. I might do a regular stream, maybe on a weekly basis, of narrating classics. I mean, I could record it like a regular audio book, you know, but I'm talking about stuff that's in the public domain. But I would just keep the narration. I would just keep the cold reads up on YouTube, and then I would basically just record it like I'm doing now, and send it to my crew, and just release the classic audiobooks on our platform. But if you just want to watch the streams, then here it is. Would you guys tune in for that? I'll come back to your comments once I do a little more narration here. All right, chapter 3. We are how many pages in? 27 pages in. If I'm doing 30 pages a day, well, I'm already not able to do that. Let's say 25 a day. That's 125 out of 450. Need to get to 135 to get to 30% over this week. Let's see if I can make it.
Chapter 3. Interviews. Leonard cursed as he crouched behind a wrecked car. The Warped was sniffing him out, slowly closing in on him. The ex-doctor took a deep breath as he stepped as silently as he could, keeping the car between him and the approaching monster. It was small, hardly bigger than a cat, but it was still a natural-born killer. Safety was within sight. A partially buried cargo container was 20 meters away, but out in the open. He wasn't sure if he could outrun the man-killing beast. If he had to make a run for it, pushing himself off the wreck.
What? Why did I say if?
He had to make a run for it. Pushing himself off the wreck, he charged forward, only for his boot to slip on a piece of pipe. He crashed noisily to the ground. The Warped was on him in an instant. Wickedly jagged teeth snapped at his leg while metal spikes shot out of the creature's back, trying to reach his abdomen. His crude armor held, though, blunting the brunt of the attack. With his other arm, the man grabbed the pipe that tripped him and clubbed the smaller creature away. The difference in their mass made the Warped sore, but as soon as it hit the ground, it was already healing, the crushed section of its body reforming with a sickening, audible pop. Leonard looked down at the blood pouring out of the cut on his leg, touching the wound with his free hand. He wasn't hurt too bad, and his tech would heal him within minutes, but it didn't look like the small monster would give him that time.
What? I see.
He wasn't hurt too bad, and his tech would heal him within minutes, but it didn't look like the small monster would give him that time. It was already stalking closer. Leonard sighed. He came all this way, survived all this long. He came all this way, survived all this long.
I don't think all needs to be there.
He came all this way, survived this long, just to fail now. Well, he was damned if he wasn't going to go down swinging. His bloody... Well, he was damned if he was... Well, he was damned if he wasn't going to go down swinging. His bloody hand clutched the far end of the club as if testing its strength, leaving a red smear behind. The Warped charged again, and the man swung, smashing the bloody tip on the monster's head. He missed, grazing the creature's flank. It pounced, teeth aiming at his throat. Leonard closed his eyes and heard a short, pained... Leonard... He missed, grazing the creature's flank. It pounced, teeth aiming at his throat. Leonard closed his eyes and heard a short, pained yelp. He opened his eyes and sighed. The Warped was held in a steel grip by a large black man in thick blue armor. Bulko shook his head.
Too bad, man. I was rooting for you. You handled yourself well under pressure, but we can't have someone who can't handle a level 2 Warped bare-handed.
To the engineer's surprise, Leonard smiled.
Look again.
All right. All right, Leonard. Okay, so need to recast Leonard. But I need to figure out a character voice for him right now. So, Leonard. I kind of want to give him, like, I don't know, for some reason the name Leonard reminds me of a Southerner. So my instinct was to give him a Southern accent, but I feel like we already have enough of that with Cirque. Let's just...
We'll do this. Look again. Look again. Bulko stared at the warp he held. Bulko stared at the warp he held. The creature's efforts to escape weakened, and green goo oozed out of its mouth. A moment later, it became still. A soft glow washed out of the corpse as the two humans absorbed its meager tech. The engineer scratched the back of his head.
Huh. Wasn't expecting that. How'd you do it?
He effortlessly tossed the corpse away. Leonard smiled. It's an ability I gained when I reached level 5 and became a biotinker. I infused my blood with a high dismantling factor tech and delivered it on the last blow. The nanites took a while to break down the warped essential organs, but they would have done the work even if you hadn't intervened.
Huh. Not sure you'd have survived that long, but not bad. Didn't know you could do that.
"Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a monster slayer," the man said, grinning. You have no idea how long I've waited to say that in proper context. You have no idea how long I've waited to say that in the proper context.
Good enough in my book.
Bulko clapped his shoulder.
Good enough in my book.
Bulko clapped his shoulder. Proper context.
Good enough in my book.
Bulko clapped his shoulder. Looking up with a raised eyebrow at the ship hovering above them, Nori's voice came out of the comms. Clapped his shoulder, looking up with a
We think so too. We think so too.
The large man clapped the other one on the shoulder again. The other one? The large man clapped the other man on the shoulder again.
Welcome to the crew, Doc. Welcome to the crew, Doc.
There, a different type of shoulder clap.
Welcome to the crew, Doc.
No.
The blonde woman crossed her arms, staring at the crew.
No. No. No.
The blonde woman crossed...
I'm not doing your warped obstacle course. Then I'm sorry, Nori said. We have to know the people we take with us won't buckle under the pressure. It's a dangerous galaxy out there.
No. No.
No.
The blonde woman...
I'm not doing your warped obstacle course. Then No to that as well.
The woman didn't let up her stern expression. The 30-something level 6 omnicist had an unwavering air of confidence around her.
I lasted on my own for 6 months before Haven's rescue teams found me. I figured out how to make my own implants.
She pointed a finger to her temple, where a strip of a slightly corroded metal adhered to her skin. I expected her to point in a different direction. Okay.
And I know how to survive. But I'm not here for my survival skills. What I am offering is my expertise as a scientist. Before the calamity, I was an experimental physicist specializing in thermodynamics and molecular physics. When the tech arrived, I figured out how to make it for me. I figured out how to make it work for me, and I can make it work for you. That's what I bring to the team. If that's not enough for you, then that's too bad. Take it or leave it.
What's up, Lorraine Biggs? Thanks for coming. What about Connecticut?
When the tech arrived, I figured out...
All right, Louise. Jeez. I'm going to give this character to Lori, and... That's for the cinematic audio, by the way. The classic audiobook is going to remain all of my own voices, so even for the parts that are technically not mine, I'm trying to get the lines right here for the classic audio version, but when we do the cinematic audio, it will be Lori playing this character.
Caddy grinned.
I like her. I like her, Captain. She's sassy.
The woman didn't flinch.
I work hard, and I know my way around alien tech. It's time I focused on my path. I don't mind if that means I have to stay confined in the lab. I can be a valuable asset.
Yeah, all right, I'm into, Bulko said. She doesn't seem to be the skittish type.
Not many of those left nowadays, Nori said in a brooding voice. Nathan, Lana? I'm with whatever you decide, Captain,
Lana said. Nathan nodded. Unity's purple orb pulsed. Unity's purple orb pulsed. Unity's purple orb pulsed.
There we go. Are you accusing me of a Connecticut accent, or is that just a suggestion? I don't know that I know what a Connecticut accent would be. Okay, let's see here. I wanted to check something, and now I'm dumb and I forget what.
Lana? I'm with whatever you decide, Captain.
What?
Nodded. Unity's purple...
Oh, right. Yeah, Unity. Unity is... Which one? This one? This one? This one? Yeah, that one. Okay.
Perhaps give her a chance to prove herself, Captain. All right,
Nori decided.
You're in. On a trial basis. You'll come along with us on this run and have a chance to prove your worth. Once we're back, we'll reevaluate your position. Once we're back, we'll evaluate your position. Is that acceptable with you, Miss Campbell? Is that acceptable to you, Miss Campbell?
The woman shrugged.
It's Judy, and I have no problem with that. If I'm not up for the job, I'll quit. If I'm not up for the job, I'll quit before you have a chance to toss me out the airlock. Oh, don't worry, Caddy said with a straight face. We almost never do that.
All right. Nori looked out of the ship and sighed at the long line of people patiently waiting for their turn.
Who's next? Who's next?
Nope.
Oh, hell no,
Bulko said, cautiously eyeing the man who was... a head taller than him. They'd already gone through most of the applicants, so far not finding any other suitable candidates. Lana didn't voice her opinion, though she could relate to the engineer's sentiment. Anders, a blond, Swedish-American man, made for a terrifying sight. His left arm and both legs were replaced with biosynthetic limbs composed of scrap metals and chunks of stitched-up flesh. Metal tubing was visible going in and out of his exposed chest, which no shirt could cover, and the top half of his skull was clearly metal.
Bulko!
Nori snapped.
All right, this one is obviously going to go to JTJ. And I should look up some... Oh, what's up, Josh? Thanks, man. All right, so I need to go listen to Swedish accent. Let's listen to this.
Who is it?
Hey allihopa, hi everyone, and welcome back to another video from Sweden. Today, we're gonna learn how to make a Swedish accent. It seems to be popular for people who watch Swedish YouTubers to come to my videos trying to learn a Swedish accent. So I thought, well, let's give them the video. And also, I think it could teach you something about Swedish pronunciation while doing this. So let's just try it out. So the first thing to note here is that there are, of course, several Swedish accents depending on which dialect you're speaking. So if you're speaking a Swedish accent like me, it's more like a Stockholm accent. But if you're from Gothenburg, it might sound a little bit more like this. So as you see, there are differences there. But there are a few key things that are, yeah, basically something you can think about.
Oh, excuse me. Jag kommer från Sverige.
So one is the so-called quantity rule. I think it's the one most important thing when trying to do a Swedish accent. The quantity rule states that if we have a short vowel, then the consonant coming after will be long. So that's something that you really hear. So if we have apple, for instance, apple, the P here, the P is short in English, but in Swedish it's more like apple, apple. If I say it with a Swedish accent, it's a long, the P is long. I don't want to say P, let's take something else. Letter, for instance, letter is not letter, letter. Letter would be in a Swedish accent, but letter is, you see the, or letter, whatever. The T is short in English, but in Swedish it has to be long. It's just a rule that came about after Old Norse somewhere, and it's just something so ingrained into our bodies that is just something that we have to do. So, as I said, apple and letter, they all get a long consonant in the middle. So, apple and letter. All right? So that's one. I think the most important thing, like it's the last thing that leaves a Swede that is trying to perfect their English accent. You know, so it's accent. Accent. It's a long k sound there. Accent, not accent. Do you see what I mean? For some people, this might be tricky to hear, but I promise you that it's theirs.
I think I have this. I think I have this. Yeah. No, it's okay, Captain,
The man, Anders, replied.
I'm used to such reactions. It's not that big of a deal compared to being shot at occasionally. If for some reason people keep mistaking me for a warped from a distance.
I don't know. Does that sound all right?
The Jarl of Whiterun.
I kind of want to hollow out the voice a little bit more.
Yes. No, it's okay, Captain.
I'm going to try and sound more like JTJ.
I'm used to such reactions. It's not that big of a deal compared to being shot at occasionally. For some reason, people keep mistaking me for a warped from a distance.
Excuse me, sir.
Lana said in a small voice.
Did you do this to yourself?
He nodded.
I was jumped by two warped out there before Haven found me. They ripped me up good before I managed to put them down.
Lana could imagine having most of your limbs and parts of your head ripped off, making wounds beyond even the tech's incredible healing properties. She shuddered.
I lay there, dying. Even absorbing the tech from the warped I killed wasn't enough to save me. I could feel that, but it was enough to level me up. When I hit level 5, a new crossroad path presented itself, and I knew it was my only chance of survival.
Any complaints? Anybody want to call me out on any of the sounds? I'm feeling pretty confident about it.
A quick mental command from the expert brought up the man's full details for the crew to see.
Is it this one? Yes.
Andres, human. Probably means Anders.
Let me make sure. See if it's spelled again later. Is it Andres or Anders? Okay, I gotta ask. Got to ask. Alright, so let me find...
Nori snapped.
No, it's okay, Captain.
The man, Anders, replied.
I'm used to such...
Alright. And... I've seen Andres twice, so I'm going to go ahead and say Andres for now.
Andres.
No.
Andres. Human. Level 6.
Path. Fuck me. Kill that.
Path. Augmenter. 2. Integrator. Highest attribute. Control. Number of implants. 3. Number of augmentations. 12.
Nori's face remained impassive.
What can you bring to the team?
He stretched his prosthetic arm. which smoothly elongated, revealing razors that sprang out and then retracted.
I started with the augmenter path. I have high control and can use it to increase other people's path abilities. I'm handy with alien technology, and, as you might have figured, I'm pretty hard to kill when things get rough.
He gave them a toothy grin.
Basically, I'm good in a fight and can make everyone around me do their job better. Also, my integrator path allows me to incorporate alien technology directly into my body, making me stronger and more utilitarian.
Well, if you can fight half as scary as you... Well, if you can fight half as scary as you look... I'm in, Bulko said.
Same,
Caddy said. Nori nodded.
I concur.
She looked at the other guys.
Guys? I oppose.
Unity's orb flashed in an uncanny shade of crimson. Everyone stared in surprise at the unexpected announcement, then looked questioningly at Nathan, who lowered his eyes. The young man didn't speak. He felt the tech agitating inside the strange man's body, seeking to expand and upgrade. Their insistent pull reminded him too much of his struggle before he accepted the tech as a part of him. But unlike that time, the man before him didn't learn to reconcile with their demands. On the contrary, he thrived on their chaotic nature, and that was too deep a concern for the young man to simply shake off. He couldn't bring himself to voice the objection, though he was immensely relieved that his soulmate immensely relieved that his soulmate had picked up on his feelings and spoke up in his stead.
I'm sorry, Andres. I'm sorry, Andres,
Nori said. Eyes still glued to Nathan's lowered gaze.
I'm afraid we won't be able to accept you.
The cyborg frowned.
Is the ship making the call for its captain?
I'm sorry,
she said, looking up to meet the man's suddenly furious eyes.
But this has to be a unanimous vote. The
man's eyes flared. He stiffly turned away and left without another word.
All right, kid.
Bulko was the first to speak, turning to Nathan.
What was up with that? It was pretty clear Unity was speaking for you.
I'm not sure,
the young man said in a subdued voice.
Something about him felt off. I kind of feel bad rejecting him. I think we all have learned to trust Wonder Boy's instincts,
Caddy declared.
If he's against accepting that hunk of potentially walking weapon platform, I'm with him. I kind of feel bad rejecting him. Feels like we're discriminating against him because of how he looks,
Lana said.
But yeah, I agree with Caddy. Nathan has never steered us wrong before.
Nori nodded.
I think we all agree?
Everyone nodded.
Good. We're just about ready to depart. Let's finish up and welcome our new crewmates.
The cybernetically enhanced man stared at the ship from a distance. His augmented, narrowed eyes easily spotted the original crew and their two new members walking on board. His biosynthetic fingers curled into a fist with a metallic crunch. He'd show them the depth of their mistake.
Yay, Justin gets to be a bad guy.
All right. Nori turned to the 7 faces staring back at her and nodded at the 2 new ones. You've all met the new guys? Dr. Leonard McElroy, Judy Campbell. Welcome aboard.
One sec, guys. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Annie's texting me. Need to know important shit.
Welcome aboard. The 2 nodded.
Wait. McElroy? Bulko said.
Yeah, I know. The biotinker sighed. Believe me, I heard all the jokes during my medical studies, and it's no longer doctor. Not much of what I've learned applies in this era. Just call me Leonard.
You got it, Doc. You got it, Doc.
Bulko grinned at him.
What's the joke? What's so funny about McElroy? I don't get it.
We're about ready to head out. It'll take us some time to get to Hammerhead Station so we can show you around the ship and get better acquainted on the way there. You can consider this mission a trial run. You guys are here as a support staff, which hopefully minimizes the risk for you, but there are no guarantees. There's a lot of powerful factions and aliens out there, and not all of them are friendly.
But many of them are.
Lana added with a smile at their alien companion. Cirque waved at the newcomers. Cirque waved at the 2 newcomers. Right, Nori agreed. But I want to stress the point. That's unnecessary. That's unnecessary, Captain Nori. Judy cut her off. We both know what we've signed on for, and we're ready for the danger. Hopefully, I'll be able to mitigate some of the danger part. Something... It's an ability...
Yep, alright. left it in mine.
Some of the danger. Hopefully I'll be able to mitigate some of the danger. Hopefully I'll be able to mitigate some of the danger part. Leonard added. I, for one, am not planning on putting myself at risk out there. I'll leave that to you, level 9 hotshots.
That's another issue.
Nori shifted uneasily.
Trial run or not, we'll probably have opportunities to earn tech and level up. But seeing that level gap between us... But seeing the level gap between us...
Judy rolled her eyes.
We get it. You five need to keep your edge and can't waste precious resources on us lowly support paths. I don't care. Back on Earth, we needed levels to survive. To do my job, I just need a high enough path score. Just get us a few implant enhancers and we're good.
Agreed. Leonard added.
All right.
Nori smiled, looking at the senior crew.
Let's show them how it's done.
She stepped toward the center of the bridge and raised her arms. The floor plates shifted, quickly growing into a comfortable chair around her, while hollow monitors flickered into existence and holographic flight controls materialized around her palms and fingers. The two newcomers stared in awe as the rest of the crew assumed their positions as well. Lana and Bulko's seats grew up behind and to the sides of the captain, each with its range of monitors. Nathan smiled shyly as he walked to stand between them. Instead of a seat, a capsule-like contraption grew around his body, putting him at a slanted angle. Instead of a seat, a capsule-like contraption grew around his body, putting him at a slanted angle. A semi-transparent helmet lowered from the ceiling on snake-like cables, closing over his face while additional lines connected around him. Cirque assumed the gunner station to the left side of the bridge. A pedestal-like seat encapsulated his lower body, fully locking the alien in place.
Are there any passenger seats around here? Leonard looked around, somewhat alarmed.
Not exactly thrilled to be left without a seatbelt when I'm about to launch out of the atmosphere.
Nori winked at him. Figure it out. Consider this your first test. She tapped her monitors. It's been a while since we flew out of the system. Let's do a proper pre-flight check. Science officer, how are we looking? You mean me, right? Lana asked. I mean, with Judy on board.
The omnicist shook her head.
I'm just the grunt scientist. Definitely not officer material.
God damn it. Stop it. Why? Noises are still happening. That one, I don't even know what it was.
Where'd it go?
I'm just the grunt scientist. Definitely not officer material. Okay. In that case...
Lana scanned the mini monitors.
Internal systems diagnosis checks out, and Internal systems diagnosis checks out, and I've set a course to Alzygo's space station. Forwarding it to your station now.
The pilot nodded.
Got it. Chief Engineer?
Thrusters, core, and null tunnel drive are all in the green. No hull fractures or structural integrity issues. Our 2 repair drones are docked at the hangar and programmed to trigger in case of sudden damage to the ship. Thanks for that, by the way, kid.
Nathan nodded.
My pleasure. Security officer? Right here. Right here. Caddy preened. I'm the security officer. Let's see. All main hatches are locked and secured. The internal scanner shows no intruders and no ground crew around the LZ. Regarding inventory, the armory is pretty much the same as before, minus the lower-ranked weapons we handed out. I've stocked us up on warped buster rounds and brought in a container of power cells for energy weapons. We won't run out of those for a long while. Good. Chief Gunner?
Both the asteroid and twin beam cannons are operating within expected parameters, Captain, Cirque replied. Hull plating is at 100%.
Nori nodded.
Nathan? We don't have a proper designation for your role, so... How about Techno Boy?
Caddy smiled widely.
The young man coughed.
Don't have anything to add. All right, in that case,
Nori smirked.
Unity? Yes, Captain. Anything you'd like to add? I have no further pre-flight information to share, Captain. However, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the 2 new parasites to infest my body.
Parasites, Judy said, as she fumbled around, looking for a seat.
What would you call tiny organisms crawling inside your body?
Leonard swallowed hard. Am I the only one bothered by the fact that an alien spaceship that can probably open up to space on her own considers us parasites? She's just teasing you, Doc. Parasites. She's just teasing you, Doc.
That is correct. I am quite glad a professional medical expert is on board, though I doubt any amount of skill would suffice to treat the engineer's terminal baldness.
Hey! Judy was the first to figure out the folding seats. Putting her back to the rear of the bridge, she held up her arms, and a harness-like seat grew out of the wall, securing her in place.
Fascinating. I wonder if I can get a sample.
Leonard followed her example and was soon fastened in as well. Nori nodded.
Good job. And liftoff.
The pilot curled her fingers, manipulating the holographic controls. Unity's front angled upward, and she started to ascend. The thrusters hummed with a sudden surge of power, shooting them up to the sky. And that's a chapter. Fun new characters. How's everybody doing in here? Unity's cool. I like Unity. And got confirmation it is indeed Andre.
Anders replied. The man,
Andres replied.
I am used to such reactions.
Oh boy. All right, Chapter 4, Grand Tour.
Chapter 4 Grand Tour. Ah!
Oh.
Ah! Leonard stopped yelling almost as soon as he started. Huh. I was expecting the G-forces to flatten us.
I am equipped with inertial dampeners,
Unity said. Unity said.
a bit of a power hog, but quite necessary for the comfort and longevity of more squishy life forms.
The man looked around in alarm. Isn't anyone else bothered by the way she speaks? Judy shrugged.
At least they didn't name her Hal.
Bulko?
The
engineer chuckled. Hey man, I'm just glad she found a new guy to mess with.
You know you'll always be my favorite, Bulko.
Unity's voice dripped with honey.
You know you'll always be my favorite, Bulko.
Unity's... I had no doubt, girl.
We'll reach Alzygo Station in 10 minutes,
Nori said, releasing the manual holo controls once they reached orbit.
The new thrusters Grotula gifted us with are a nice upgrade.
Twice as strong as the old ones, at the very peak of F rank, Bulko agreed. And the new power core really goes a long way towards squeezing that to the fullest.
Yup,
Lana added.
It would only take us 3 hours to get to the moon. It would only take us 3 hours to get to the moon, compared to 6 before.
She glanced at the 2 new crew members behind her.
So, Leonard, I was wondering if you could tell us about your path. Your second evolution in particular interests me.
I've been doing Chrysalis so much lately that that I've keep wanting to say evolution because I've been narrating with an English accent. And he says evolution quite often. Evolution. I wish I could narrate this whole thing as Anthony. I guess that explains it. Well, I chose the medic path on level 1. Okay.
Interests me.
You can see my second path?
Sure. I got a sensory enhancement implant that can pick that up.
Is that why your eyes have a blue grid? Is that why your eyes have a blue grid?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that explains it. Well, I chose the medic path on level 1. It allowed me to follow up on the tech regeneration process, see how long it would take for a person to reach full health, and gave me the option to slightly expedite the process. When I reached level 5, I selected the biotinker path. It gives me more control of the regeneration properties of the tech. It gives me more control of the regeneration properties of the tech. It gives me more control of the regeneration properties of the tech. I hardly call what you did to that warped regeneration, Bulko pointed out. Leonard smiled. Breaking down cells is an integral process of any biological function. I simply enhanced that aspect of the tech in the blood I put on the club. Remind me never to get on your bad side, Doc.
You have nothing to worry about. That only worked since the creature was level 2. Anything higher, or even close to my level, would be able to regenerate quickly enough to override my influence.
Too bad. Too bad.
Now that's a sight, Judy said, in an odd tone. The space station grew on the bridge's large view screens, displaying a tube-like shape with a sphere on one end. Kind of looks like a huge bong.
Yep, that's our resident space bong. The natives are friendly enough, though. Yep, that's our resident space bong. The natives are friendly enough, though.
We won't stay long. We won't stay long, Nori said. We just need to have a quick chat with El Zygo. He's the station owner, Lana said. He can be a bit scary to look at, but he's very nice.
Good to know, Leonard muttered. But if it's just for a chat, why not just use the comms?
We need to ask for a favor, Nori replied. Feels more appropriate to do it in person. Also, the XR are big fans of interpersonal communication, Lana said. Remember when we first reached Hammerhead? El Zygo's brother came to greet us in person. Oh, he's hailing us.
Welcome back, Unity.
Welcome back, Unity.
There was another person's voice that was supposed to go to comms that I forgot about.
Welcome back, Unity.
El Zygo's urbane voice came from the comms. El Zygo's urbane voice came from the comms.
Docking Bay 1 is ready and awaits your arrival. Forwarding you the flight path. Got it, Nori said. See you in a bit.
Unity slowed down, then rotated, pointing her aft section to the tube part of the station. The docking bay entrance stretched out, locking into place around Unity's exit.
Let's go.
Nori pushed out of her seat.
This is a safe area, so you new guys can take the opportunity to get acquainted with an alien environment.
Everyone got out of their seat and followed the captain through the hangar toward the back, exiting through the smaller personnel hatch. Judy and Leonard looked around in awe at the alien architecture. Their eyes widened as the thick door separating the docking tube from the habitat sphere opened, revealing the area beyond. The spherical section was one huge open space divided by several mezzanine levels. A 2.5-meter-tall alien approached, and his 2 sets of bony jaws spread out in a smile as he came near.
All right, and these need to go into comms. There we go.
Welcome back, my friends. It is good to see you. Hey, El Zygo.
Lana stepped forward.
Great to see you too.
She gestured to the new members.
These are our new crew members. Judy, Leonard. Meet El Zygo, the station owner. He's the one who helped us produce enough tech-infused bullets to fight off the warped.
It was my pleasure, Miss Lana, the tall alien beamed back. Though I must point out, that was merely a part of our business transaction.
Well,
Lana winked.
You gave us a good deal.
Wait, Judy said. You can understand what he's saying? Lana frowned.
You don't... Oh, shoot. Sorry, that's my bad. You guys don't have translation implants yet.
Lana frowned. Nope.
You guys don't have translation implants yet, but don't worry. I can give you a basic data pack.
She raised her right hand, and a snake-like metallic... Where'd it go? She raised her right hand, and a snake-like metallic cord extended from her wrist.
Turn around for a sec.
Judy seemed fascinated. Some sort of biotechnological data transfer? How does it work?
No idea,
Lana said lightly.
but it does. It will also let us share our respective paths. It will also let us share our respective paths' analytical capabilities, so you'll be able to see people's paths details like I can, plus Caddy's threat assessment thing. Now, I just need to put this against your necks.
The omnicist turned at once, but the biotinker took a step back. I don't know. Is this thing even sanitized? Bulko chuckled. You think that's intimidating? You think that's intimidating? Our big friend over here had to forcefully hold us down while he injected us with that thing. That was one hell of a rude awakening, let me tell you that. It was quite distressing, though mandatory. It was quite a distressing, though mandatory experience. Elzygo nodded. Judy blinked as Lana's injector disengaged from her neck. Hey, I understood that. The expert motioned Leonard to turn over. He sighed, but obediently let her inject him. As well.
All done.
I didn't feel a thing, he said in surprise. Naturally not, Elzygo said. The tech injector accesses a compatible port on the base of the nerve cluster. Fascinating. The biotinker unwittingly repeated Judy's earlier statement. Is it the same spot on every species? For most humanoids, yes, but there are variations. I'm afraid it took me several moments to locate it on your friends when they first came onto my station. Good times, Bulko grunted good-naturedly. To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? I must confess, business has been slow in your absence. Yeah, we got kind of busy exploring other star systems, big guy. I have noticed. I'm afraid there's little my humble station may offer your vessel. I've detected some significant upgrades since you last docked, not to mention the increase in size.
We need your help, Nori said. Grotula 3 isn't answering our request for communication, and as far as we know, he didn't leave the solar system. We were hoping your equipment was able to track his movement.
I mean, wouldn't he mess with the gravity of the star system, though, for being there?
I sort of lost track of him when he moved behind Jupiter,
Lana said apologetically.
Unity has better sensors now, but there's a limit to what I can do from inside the atmosphere while... Well,
not your fault, Lana.
well,
Not your fault, Lana.
Nori looked up at the tall alien.
Can you help us out?
the atmosphere, well,
Not your fault, Lana.
Nori looked up at the... Elzygo hesitated.
Grotula 3 is the name of the sentient planet?
She nodded.
I am aware of his current location. I do, however, have a small request.
Bulko crossed his arms. Another delivery?
No, nothing like that. I will give you the location as a courtesy.
He raised his arms and tapped his wrist console. A second later, Nori's console chimed.
Done.
Bulko grunted.
what can we do for you, Elzygo?
Nori asked.
First, a question, if you'll allow it. The package you carried for me to Hammerhead. Have you been able to deliver it?
We did. Kong was, not happy with you, but she accepted it.
Nori felt awkward speaking about the alien's ex.
You have my apologies for the unpleasantness, Captain.
Not at all. She came through for us in a big way later on, helped us locate a good mining spot where we met with Cirque.
The alien's double jaw sagged a little.
I'm pleased to hear she's doing well. I feared she might have paid for my actions.
I think she'll be okay. She's good at what she does.
Exceedingly so. Which brings us back to my request.
Elzygo sighed.
I'm afraid my little space station isn't doing very well. With you, my main customers, no longer around as much. Business has been exceedingly slow, and the recent freighter movements supplying the planet directly...
Hey, don't come pointing fingers at us. Earth needs all the resources it can... Hey, don't come pointing fingers at us. Earth needs all the resources it can get.
Far from me to interfere with planetary shipping lines, but it seems that local space travel hasn't evolved as much as I've hoped.
How can we help?
I understand your planet requires large shipments of equipment, which I have no intention of contesting. However, I'm positive your people might be lacking small, less pressing equipment, which might not be economical or feasible to ship in large quantities.
Go on.
An evolving planet needs access to its star system and the equipment to explore and harvest its resources. An evolving planet needs access to its star system and the equipment to explore and harvest its resources. I dare say you would need, at some point, to purchase small space vehicles, shuttles, miners, and equipment not readily available on Earth. Though I lack such equipment to sell, my station can serve as a rallying point for such ventures. If you'd manage to convince some budding entrepreneurs... If you'd manage to convince some budding entrepreneurs to come here, that could prove beneficial for the both of us.
He's got a point,
Lana said.
More traders with a wider variety of wares could be useful.
We'll see what we can do. Wonderful!
Elzygo brightened.
May I invite you to the lounge and share some orger fruit?
Bulko shook his head. We should get going.
Another time, Elzygo.
Lana smiled at him. The tall alien saw them off as they walked back through the docking tube toward Unity.
I wouldn't have said no to a sample of an alien fruit, Judy said. It could be fascinating to study how different species metabolize similar food. It's basically an artichoke,
Lana said.
An artichoke? Yep. Turns out they're alien.
Huh. They returned to the bridge. And assumed their seats. Lana tapped her console, bringing out a chart of the solar system.
Oh. I got some bad news, guys.
Let me guess, Caddy said. The talking planetoid isn't there?
Oh no, he's there all right.
The display zoomed in to show 2 moons orbiting a giant planet.
Right there next to Io. Right there next to Io, orbiting Jupiter.
What's the problem then?
It's 628 million kilometers away.
But we can reach the moon in just 3 hours, right? How much longer could it take?
The moon is less than 500,000 kilometers from Earth.
Which means...
With our current thrusters on maximum speed, it'll take us almost half a year to get there. And that isn't even considered far in stellar travel terms. Neptune is more than 6 times that distance.
Can't you use your interstellar drive engine to get there? Judy raised an eyebrow. Nori shook her head.
It's not called interstellar for no reason. We can't use it to move inside a star system.
So, how does anyone ever manage to reach anywhere inside a system once they get there?
We can set the arrival coordinates pretty accurately,
Lana replied. I'll just get rid of that.
Arrival coordinates pretty accurately. But there's a minimal distance for using our null tunnel drive. Unity is pretty basic. She was originally built as a simple freighter and meant to travel between nearby systems. A higher grade drive would let us move around more freely.
Only that would set us back about 1 million Pytek. I looked it up.
We're a bit tight on cash, Nori said. And what we have is meant to help people. And what we have is meant to help the people back on Earth.
I'll just add it to the list of upgrades we need to get once we're rich enough to afford it.
What do you need with this Grotula person? What do you need with this Grotula person planet anyway?
Judy asked, then muttered to herself, I wonder if he'll let me get a sample.
He's got our loot.
Loot?
The villainous
syndicate speaker that tried to enslave your planet. The villainous syndicate speaker that tried to enslave your planet, Cirque spoke up. Nori nodded.
He had a high-grade storage implant on him that might hold valuables we could use. What's that got to do with the talking planet? The implant was coded specifically to the speaker. It's locked down. Grotula 3 is an expert on relict technology and thought he might be able to unlock the implant for us. I can see why you'd want to get a hold of him.
The rotund bastard is ghosting us. The rotund bastard is ghosting us.
Caddy smirked.
Rotund?
Well, isn't he?
He's a planet.
My point stands.
He's evolving, Nathan spoke up softly, to everyone's surprise. The process is different for him than for us.
Our only viable option of getting to Io,
Lana said.
is to set the null tunnel coordinate to him, then... when we return to the solar system. But that, of course, would make it impossible for us to reach Earth. I guess we can set back to Hammerhead, then aim back to Earth? It will only add 2 days overall.
We'll consider this option when it's time to get back, Nori said. As alluring rummaging through a syndicate speaker's wallet is, he'd probably kept most of his capital in his account. I doubt anything we'll find inside will be a game changer, and I doubt anything we'll find inside will be a game changer, and I'd rather not waste 2 days on the site. I doubt anything we'll find inside will be a game changer, and I'd rather not waste 2 days on the slight chance it does.
Makes sense, I guess. Course to Hammerhead is set, Captain. Course to Hammerhead is set, Captain.
Thanks. Nori's fingers flew over her controls. Engaging null tunnel drive. A tunnel-like structure appeared on the bridge's central view screen, its tube-like walls made of a blurry version of the starry sky. A single black opening appeared at the end of the tube. There was no sense of motion. ETA to destination, Unity's smooth voice spoke up. 22 hours. Wasn't it 17 the last time? Though we don't rely on non-Newtonian physics, we do require special relativity calculations to provide an accurate spatial determination. She is correct, Cirque said. Can you say that again in English? Lana giggled.
Distances in space aren't constant.
Now, was that so hard? I've heard a lot of rumors about that Hammerhead place, Leonard said. What are we planning on doing out there? We need to get in touch with Diamond and make sure the loud geezer... We need to get in touch with Diamond and make sure the loud geezer has settled down all right. Plus, now that he's been there for a while, he should be able to give us the lay of the land. Possibly send us to track down other leads. Leads?
We have 2 main priorities,
Nori said. Nori said.
1, acquiring more advanced alien technology to bring back to Earth, and 2, finding more information on the Eater of Worlds and possible ways to oppose him. Or her,
Lana said. Or it, Bulko grumbled. Could also be a they, Nathan said with a faint smile. So... Leonard's eyes were slightly wild as he looked around. Just another Monday for Unity's crew, right?
Course is set.
Nori stood up from her seat and smiled at the new crew members.
Now that we have some time to kill, let's give you guys the grand tour around the ship.
The new members were properly excited about everything they saw on the ship, but there was no question they were most interested in the roles they were meant to fill. Leonard's eyes nearly popped out when Lana led the two to the work area they'd be using. The medic greedily viewed the bed-size bioscanner and medical tools the crew had purchased in their last voyage to Hammerhead. This is incredible. My path just lit up. There are so many things I can do with this equipment. I have to start learning how it all works. Just don't make any alien-enhanced retroviruses while you're at it. I wasn't going to. The man looked affronted. I'm just going to run tests on some skin cells and study the tech from a medical perspective. Caddy stared at the engineer.
Do you even know what a retrovirus is?
I know it killed everyone in Resident Evil.
Good point.
They moved on to the science lab, where Judy was similarly... They moved on to the science lab, where Judy was similarly impressed with the... They moved on to the science lab, where Judy was similarly impressed with the equipment available.
I'm not sure what half of those things do, but my path shows me I can use them all. This is a high-resolution scanner, right?
She pointed at a piece of equipment that looked like a spherical table.
And what's that thing?
She pointed at a lens-covered contraption.
Matter modulator,
Lana said.
Supposedly, it allows emulation of different molecular structures. I wasn't sure what we'd use it for, but the person who sold the scanner said we had to get one as well.
I'll work on it for a while. See what I can do.
All right, guys,
Nori said.
Go nuts. The rest of us will be at the lounge if you need anything. Senior crew members only? Something like that. You're welcome to join if you'd like.
Nah, I'm good, the biotinker said. I think I'm going to stay here the entire trip.
Same here,
Judy replied.
You guys have fun.
Must burp.
I'm like a baby. All right,
Nori started as they reached the galley area. A wave of her hand caused the large conference table to descend into the floor and a large semicircle couch to rise instead, taking up most of the spacious room. She sat, motioning the others to follow suit.
Come on now. We need to discuss, in detail, what we're going to do once we get to Hammerhead.
What's to discuss? The engineer shrugged. We don't have enough information to go by. We'll find Diamond, get the information he gathered, and go from there.
We also need to figure out the best way to spend the Pytech the Council gave us,
Nori said. The large man shrugged. Same deal. We'll get to the station and sniff around for the best deals.
I think there's something else we can do,
Nori said slowly, drawing everyone's attention.
I think we should use part of the Pytech to raise Lana and Nathan to level 10.
What?
What?
The young expert said in surprise.
Why us? Both of you are very close to level up anyway, so it won't cost... Both of you are very close to level up anyway, so it won't cost us that much, and it could be more helpful in the long run.
Nathan shook his head. The Pytech was entrusted to us to help Earth. It feels wrong to use it on ourselves. I don't know about that, kid. Level 10 is the next big leap. With you two overachievers getting there, it could go a long way to help everyone else. How much Pytech... With you two overachievers getting there, it could go a long way to help With you two overachievers getting there, it could go a long way to help everyone else. How much Pytech you two need to reach it?
$11,400.
Lana said at once.
11,400. Each, but it doesn't feel... 22,000 is nothing compared to the nearly 2 million we have. Doesn't feel... 22,000 is nothing compared to the nearly 2 million we have,
Nori cut her off.
and I'm sure it would benefit everyone involved.
She smiled at the two young people.
Your objection is noted and overruled. As your captain, I'm ordering you to level up.
Nori took out the crystallized, tear-shaped Pytech and extracted 2 identical gems from it.
Go on.
Looking at each other for support, both ex-students accepted the gems, which promptly liquefied and seeped into their skins. Lana's view swam as strands of information overflowed her mind.
Level 10 reached. Admin path has reached a crossroad. Choose one. Sifter. Better access and manipulation of digital data. Tech score +3. Source coder. Tweak and modify information at the base layer. Hacking +5.
She knew the others were looking at her, which felt a bit awkward. She quickly considered her 2 options. Sifter sounded like being better at her current role, and the tech score bonus applied to anything within her purview. The source coder option sounded more like Nathan's thing, and though the increased hacking bonus could come in handy, she had yet to meet a system she couldn't hack, especially with her oldest friend around. She selected the Sifter path, then gaped as the next line of text appeared before her.
Attribute points to assign. Attribute points to assign. 4. Holy moly!
Though they had foreknowledge of the possible leap in attribute points at higher levels, it had been a while ago, and seeing it happen with her own eyes caught her by surprise. Her 2 main attributes, intelligence and awareness, were relatively high at 10 and 9, respectively, but she felt it more prudent to invest in them rather than in her secondary ones, appeal and control, which, at a 6 and a 4, felt like enough for now. She put 1 point in awareness, bringing it up to an even 10, then poured the other 3 into intelligence, bringing it up to 13. She could actually feel it as her mind changed gears, suddenly coming up with ideas and concepts at a speed she couldn't achieve before.
Lana. Human. Human. Level 10. 512 tech. Path. Expert. Expert. Admin. Sifter. Score 35. Attributes. Attributes. Strength 1. Agility 1. Intelligence 13.
I think it's primary and secondary?
Primary. Control 6. Secondary. Awareness 10. Primary. Appeal 4. Secondary. Conditions. Tech infusion boost plus 5%. Parallel processing. Intelligence 10.
The last entry in her stats drew her attention, and with hardly a thought, she accessed the underlying information.
Prerequisite met. Intelligence 10. Parallel processing gained.
Excuse me. Just a few short moments ago, that message would have stoked her, as her intelligence was already at 10 before leveling up, but her juiced-up brain quickly arrived at the obvious conclusion. She had an implant granting a +1 bonus to her intelligence stat, which didn't count toward fulfilling the prerequisite. It also explained why she didn't gain another trait from her awareness, reaching a score of 10, as it was also boosted by her armor and another implant that provided a +4 bonus. It was a bit of a shame. Had she known in advance, she would have diverted more of her new points into awareness, but it would be something she could easily accomplish on her next level. Her eyes snapped open. That was an important bit of information.
Nathan, when you assign your points...
Her technomancer friend was already, quite obviously, far away in his own mind. Nathan nodded to himself as the tech in his body agitated, reached critical mass, and burst out in a flash of comprehension and possibilities.
Level 10 reached. Bonded path has reached a crossroad. Choose one. Assimilator. Bonded ally may simulate organic growth via compatible factor. Aspected. Your bond deepens in a specific branch.
The crude description wasn't much, but at this point Nathan had no trouble digging deeper, cracking open the tech's intention, communicating in a means beyond simple medium as language. Communicating in a means beyond a simple medium such as language. Communicating in a means beyond a simple medium such as language.
Assimilator. Bonded ally could... Assimilator. Bonded ally could evolve more organically by absorbing more advanced, compatible components. Aspected. One of the bonded ally's features, propulsion, armament, mining, processing power, or navigation, would be dramatically enhanced, also granting the user a fraction of its capabilities.
Being able to dramatically enhance Unity's drive engine or mining ability could be a huge boon to the Earth Force. However, Nathan wasn't sure exactly how. Nathan wasn't sure how exactly he would get a portion of that power. Would he have the ability to travel through space on his own, or point a finger and burrow holes into the ground? He wasn't sure. He wanted to find out. The assimilator path, though somewhat more ominous sounding, seemed to him the better option, offering a gradual and more independent method for Unity to improve her. The assimilator path, though somewhat more ominous sounding, seemed to him the better option, offering a gradual and more independent method for Unity to improve herself. So that was what he selected.
Attributes to assign 4.
Unlike his friend, He wasn't taken by surprise by the large number of points, and as he considered which attribute to assign them to, the tech inside his body resonated in his mind, revealing to him the various benefits they offered. He was somewhat taken aback by discovering the benefit of organically raising an attribute to 10, which posed a problem. 2 of Nathan's 4 primary attributes, intelligence and control, were at 8, but that was thanks to the bonuses he got from his armor and various implants. His other 2 primary attributes, agility and awareness, were at 7, despite being similarly augmented, which meant he could only choose 1. It wasn't a hard choice. Control has been, without a doubt, the most useful stat, allowing him a firmer grasp when taking over technology. With his current 8 points, he could only barely control the service drone on the Syndicate Speaker's ship. If he had better control, he might have been able to guide it quicker, saving more lives. He poured all 4 points into control, raising it to 12. The sense of the tech agitating for instructions mellowed down as they organized themselves in a new pattern.
Prerequisite met. Control 10. Psyche imbuement gained.
He pondered the new ability for a moment. It didn't seem to offer him better control of technology, other than the base increase of the attribute itself did. Instead, he sensed it allowed him to infuse part of himself into machines, letting them operate with greater autonomy. But he would have to try it for himself to be sure.
Nathan. Human Scion. Level 10. 512 Tech. Skill. Technomancer. Bonded. Assimilator. Score 40. Attributes. Strength 3. Secondary. Agility 7. Primary. Intelligence 8. Primary. Control 12. Primary. Awareness 7. Primary. Appeal 3. Secondary. Conditions. Tech infusion boost plus 5%. Attribute boost. Attribute boost plus 10%. Bond unity. Psyche imbuement. Control 10.
With a smile, the young man opened his eyes and blinked in surprise at the 4 sets of eyes staring straight at him.
Hello?
Are you all right?
Nori asked, as the expert slowly came to.
That took longer than usual.
Lana blinked a few times.
I'm good. It looks like level 10 is a big deal. I kinda lost touch with reality there for a moment.
Try 10 minutes, Bulko grumbled, sticking his thumb out. And Boy Wonder over here is still out.
He is?
Lana leaned forward toward Nathan, studying his serene expression. The others joined her.
My soulmate is doing well.
Unity's holographic sphere hovered into the galley.
I can feel myself beginning to change along with him.
Any idea what he's doing in there? Bulko asked, leaning closer next to Lana.
Or how long is it going to take him?
Caddy leaned in as well. Cirque leaned in too, studying the technomancer's face.
What are we looking at?
Nathan's eyes opened suddenly, flinching at the 4 faces an arm's length away.
You all right, Nathan? You're all right, Nathan?
Lana asked, as the 4 took a step back. He smiled at her.
I am now.
He looked around the room.
My new path should allow Unity to evolve faster. She'll need access to components like maybe salvage. It should give us more flexibility on top of purchasing upgrades.
That's good, Nori said approvingly. All eyes turned toward Lana next.
What? You're our resident brainiac,
Caddy grinned at her.
And your already juiced up mind probably just got itself extra Juice. So, what?
The expert said defensively.
You just expect me to magically come up with some great ideas?
Pretty much. What do you have, girl?
I don't think...
Lana started, but as she was about to deflect her friend's unrealistic expectation, a different part of her mind was already fathoming possibilities and running calculations.
Well, maybe.
Caddy smirked.
Lay it on us, honey.
She shook her head.
I have some ideas, but I need some information first. When we reach Hammerhead, you guys head over to Diamonds and I'll go to the archives. Sounds like a plan. One more thing. Well, more like two. Remember we suspected the number of attribute points we get would increase every 5 levels? I can corroborate that. I just received 4 points to spend, and I guess Nathan did too?
The young man nodded. Bulko frowned. That means my attribute boost trait will get even less significant as we level up. It only gives me 1 more point at every level.
It allowed you to survive to get to higher levels,
Nori reminded him,
and I wouldn't look down at the 9 extra points you currently have over me. What's the second thing, Lana? Looks like reaching a score of 10 in any attribute, excluding external bonuses, gives us some sort of special ability.
Of course it does. Cirque looked around the humans in surprise. You didn't know that? You didn't know that? You didn't know that? What? What? No, it doesn't. My strength is at 12, with the +2 from the armor. My strength is at 12, with the +2 from the armor, and I didn't get anything special.
Me neither, Caddy added with a frown. My control is at 11 with a +1 from an implant.
Did the two of you have the bonuses on when you reached 10? Cirque asked.
Yeah? So what?
The little green alien fought down a smile. It's a known phenomenon. Try removing and reapplying those items. Are you telling me that even with advanced alien technology, the first IT solution for everything applies? Just turn it off and on again? Yes. The alien paused. What's IT? The large engineer grumbled. His thick blue armor wasn't deployed around his body, but it was still attached to him. He tugged at the item, whose various components started rotating and unfolding until he held up a thick blue plate. Caddy, likewise, put a finger to her temple, drawing out a silvery substance that hardened into a metallic pin. Huh. I got a trait called dense muscles, Bulko said as he read his interface. Supposedly, it makes me resistant to damage.
A useful trait in our line of work. Caddy patted his shoulder. All I got was something called steady aim. I guess it should increase my accuracy with a sniper rifle, though the advanced scope and my cybernetic eye already fill that slot.
My control also reached 10, but my trait was different, Nathan said softly. Cirque nodded. Different paths manifest different bonuses. Additionally, as your other attributes reach 10, the bonus trait will be upgraded. However, only physical attributes can upgrade a physical awarded trait, and the same is true for the non-physical attributes.
So you can only get up to 2 bonus traits, even if you get all attributes to level 10?
Lana asked. Yes, and a trait that is upgraded by all 3 attributes is significantly more powerful than one upgraded by 2.
I guess it makes sense. Well, if you need me, I'll be in my room. Parallel processing.
Caddy yawned.
I'm going to catch up on my sleep. Unity, how much longer do we have?
20 hours and 12 minutes. Nori stood.
We should all use the time to recharge, so we'll be sharp. When we get there. Hammerhead is never dull.
Wow. What page am I at? 47. Okay. Fifteen hours later, a bleary-eyed Leonard rose from the work desk he created at the medbay and yawned. Let me get some water. Despite his fatigue, the biotinker was elated. The meager medical equipment available on Unity was low-ranked and of limited functionality, but it was still a huge leap from what was available on Earth. He looked over his new workspace in satisfaction. Sometime during his work, Lana walked in and showed him and Judy how to use Unity's restructuring feature to customize the place to his liking. He created 2 permanent medbeds, which he connected to the bioscanner. He surrounded them with handy tables and surfaces that offered easy access to whatever... He surrounded them with handy tables and surfaces that offered easy access to whatever tools he might need. Of course, he'll have to find some tools. He had no... Of course, he'd have to find some tools. He had no idea what might be available out there. Stethoscopes, for example, were obsolete as he could see people's vitals. From the moment he acquired his medic path at level 1. Still yawning, he went to the adjacent workroom. Judy was snoring lightly, head resting on a new table that wasn't there before. It looked like the Omnicist had completely reconfigured her workspace into something that looked like a high-tech lab. Multiple gadgets and half-dismantled alien components were lying around. The biotinker approached the sleeping woman and nudged her shoulder. Might want to finish resting in your cabin, he said softly. We'll arrive at our destination in... Unity?
4 hours and 31 minutes.
The ship's pleasant voice spoke from the comms. The woman blinked as she looked around.
I guess you have a point. Probably a good idea to have a clear mind on my first tour of an alien settlement.
Exactly. The 2 walked toward their cabins, each entering their assigned one, and promptly fell asleep.
Good morning, Captain. Unity's voice spoke in Nori's cabin, waking her up. We're 20 minutes away from Hammerhead. Thanks, Unity,
Nori murmured, getting up.
Please wake the others.
Of course, Captain. Nori quickly slipped into fresh clothes and washed up in her private bathroom before heading to the galley, where Bulko was already brewing a pot of coffee. Nori poured herself a cup and went down the stairs into the bridge, assuming her pilot seat. Conveniently, a cup holder materialized at her side. Nori activated the ship-wide comms.
Crew, we're about to reach our destination. Everyone, please report to the bridge.
With steaming mugs in their hands, the others descended into the bridge and assumed their seats. Lana's fingers flew over a light console.
Coming out of Null Tunnel in 3, 2, 1, now.
The star-made tunnel around them vanished, replaced with the peaceful view of normal space. Replaced with the forward... Replaced, where to go? Replaced with the peaceful view of normal space. A second later, the main view screen flickered, zooming on a large asteroid with multiple domes and metal spires dotting its surface.
Hammerhead is hailing us,
Lana said.
Putting them through.
This one? No, this one. Nope. This one? Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
Welcome back, Unity.
The voice of the operator spoke.
What is the purpose of this visit?
This time, Lana knew what to say.
We're meeting with the Earth Force ambassador at the Metrodome.
Acknowledged. You are approved to dock at Landing Bay T-21. Forwarding you the flight path.
Got it.
Come on, stop it.
Got it,
Nori said.
Docking fee is 2,000 PyTech per rotation. I would like to remind you that only sidearms are allowed on the station and that any... I would like to remind you that only sidearms are allowed on the station and that any form of violence short of self-defense will be dealt with swiftly and harshly by the station security. Given your previous altercations, you might want to brush up on the station's regulations.
Not looking to cause any trouble,
Nori said.
Thanks, Hammerhead.
Lana ended the transmission.
We aren't expecting any troubles, right? I mean, the Syndicate... No,
Nori replied. The speaker who hired us took over the one who tried to assault Earth, and we've tied up things with him.
As far as you know, you can't tell what scum like that might be scheming.
Maybe, but I doubt he'll try to board and seize the ship again. From his seat at the back, the biotinker's eyes widened. Seize the what now? All right. And that's it for me for today, guys. Thank you so much again for coming to hang out with me. Let's see, I'll be back at it tomorrow, at noon Central once again. So please do join me when that happens. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to keep track of this YouTube channel. Be sure to go to our website to pick up the newsletter subscription. Check all the links in the description below for the cinematic audio versions of all the Earth Force, of books 1 and 2 of Earth Force. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much once again. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Oh, and also, lastly, I will be on Discord here pretty soon. Probably going to take a 15, 30-minute break, something like that. And then I will get to narrating Jotla is Not a Shithole by Harmon Cooper. It's a
short story from the Fantasy Online series. So, yep, just watch out for Discord notifications and you'll see me when I jump back in. Later, guys.